Okay, this is for both of you guys. When you start coming up with ideas for a new project, what steps do you take to stay focused?
I feel like the beginning of a project, it's not a lot of focus necessarily. Like you're pulling in from so many different things and you're trying to codify it. So I think the more specific you get over time, the more focused it becomes. Like, what do you think, Rebecca?
That's interesting. Yeah, maybe there's almost, it depends what approach you want to take. I think sometimes there's almost a magic eye approach where you could just try and dissolve your focus so completely that something new comes into focus. I'm really bad at taking that approach though. I tend to come up with a point I want to make or a thing I want to do or a thing I want to learn, and I just charge at it as much as possible. But I also kind of like a push and pull where it's like if I feel like I'm getting too in my own head on an idea, to really back up and be like, you know, what is this? Is this what I'm trying to say? Is this design getting this point across? You know, am I getting too in the weeds here on this concept? For like I think of it like a forest trees kind of macro micro thing that I'll do a lot, especially with Stephen's stories. That like if I'm getting really fixated on a detail, I'll be like, okay, hold on, but like, what's the forest? What's the forest? And then once I see the forest again, I'll be like, okay, but I really want like a sycamore, you know, in episode 45 or whatever.
I think it's also important to, how do I put this? Sorry, I keep losing my thought. I feel like I'm so focused on what you're saying that, focus. I think it's important to ask why you're losing focus. I think when you're excited about an idea, and it's especially when it's early on, you can just go at it. But the more you get in your own way, I think you can lose focus. You're like, what's holding me back? I think especially if, like, let's say you're doing like a web comic and you've got insanely deep lore, and the more you write it, the less you actually make it. I think if you simplify and ask yourself, are you afraid you're not going to be able to draw it well? Do you think it's so long you'll never finish it? Look at what's happening and attack it that way.
Right. Yeah, I remember there was like an art school thing where I'd meet people who are like, this is the prequel to my saga, but they never made the saga. You know?
Exactly.
On the other hand, it's like whatever makes you like excited to do work. But I think, you know, again, part of it being a conversation is, you know, how do you let people in on what is exciting you about this, especially if
there's definitely no harm in having some long, deep story that you never make. But if you want to make something, you have to figure out what it is that's stopping you from making it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think also, I think it's good, you know, if you do find yourself losing focus on what it is you care about, maybe the thing is just not as compelling as you thought it was to begin with. Which is totally, like maybe the reason you wanted to do it is a different reason, and when you take that step back, you're like, oh, I'm actually writing about this. It's like, no wonder I couldn't stay engaged with this other thing. So soul searching is a really important part of the whole process.